Right, I know it's only been a week, but guess what? Bought another tent. And last week I went very high tech in winter tent. This time around I'm going very minimalist. As you can see, it's a Rab Element 2. So it was a wee bit of an impulse buy this actually. I saw it come up on sportshoes.com for just $69.99. And I thought, oh, do you know what? I need something minimalist. Basically 600 grams with the hang tags on it. So we'll open it up and see if there's anything else. So I was really just looking for something absolutely minimalist. I can use during the summer, but also maybe during the winter as a kind of snow shelter. And then I'll just put a mat down inside or some sort of floor. And maybe in the bug season come the summer, I'll get an inner. So it looks like it just comes with a wee bag of pegs. I don't think it actually comes with any guy lines. 6 large V-pegs. It uses walking poles. So that, I think, is the sum total of it. No guy lines either by the look of it. Let's get outside and get a look. It's a really blowy day, so hopefully you'll be able to hear me over the noise of the wind. So it's basically symmetrically the same. So you've got a zip at this end, pole goes in there. And then at the other end you've got another door zip on the opposite side and the pole goes in there. I believe there's no instructions, but I think the poles go point up, which makes me a bit nervous. But I do see there is a corresponding eyelet, which would suggest that's exactly what you do. Very chunky, usual Rab quality, nice big chunky zips, luminous pullers on the zip ends there. It's quite a nice wee touch. And then quite a generous sleeve over the zip itself. And it also comes with a very small, admittedly, but very small upper roof vent with midgie mesh inside. So I'll just pop it to that height just now, which is probably no more than about 115. We'll give it a go, see. It worries me having a pole tip coming through a brass eyelet because it looks like it would leak. So it looks like an old-fashioned V-shaped tent. Like an old ridge tent. It's kind of tall and narrow. Feels stable enough, but it's definitely, it's supposed to be a two-person one. I don't know if I'd be too keen on it with 2 people. Mega long footprint. Obviously I think because your body's going to be between the poles here, then in effect you've got a vestibule at either end. We're missing at least a couple of pegs. I'm going to try and look out 4 pegs maybe just to do 1 on either side in the middle because there is a pegging point. Probably could do with another one here for the door to take the door strain off the zip. And I wonder actually whether it might need another one, like a guy line maybe, coming out either side. So I've added another peg in the midpoint there on that part. And same again on the other side, just to try and make it a wee bit more wide where your body is. Let's jump inside and have a look. With a toggling elastic, my favourite way of doing it. There you go, that's that in. I've thrown a mat in. It's quite big really. I don't think 2 would sleep in here too easily because the walls would touch you. But for 1, it's pretty palatial. And tons of room to cook. Part of my thinking is I want to try and maybe build this into a hot tent and have a stove at one end. So the wide angle lines of the stove will give you a slightly exaggerated view of this thing. Yeah, but apart from the walls, assuming they don't clap in on you too much, then yeah, just enough head height. I think we're only running at about 115 to 120 centimetres high on the pole, probably 115 judging by my head. Pretty breeze free though. So yeah, you've got plenty of room for a pack at either end so it doesn't encroach on your sleeping area. All your storage can go to either end here. I'm really tempted to see if I can get a stove in here. It would be so warm. Without guy lines actually, the poles, because it's so much under so much stress, it's not actually flexing. The Ridgeline flexes slightly, the panels flex slightly, but possibly it doesn't need guy lines really, as long as those pegs hold at the bottom. think in all honesty these tiny vents are probably just enough to stop you suffocating to death. But in terms of venting the tent, I suspect they'll not be very effective. They're just too wee. And also the material sits very close to the hood, so it's minimal airflow really. The Velcro on the doors is pretty aggressive, so if you wanted a bit of additional venting, you can just hit the Velcro tabs together. There's 2 or 3 of them on the door, and it just allows a bit more airflow through, but without letting rain in. Well, the wind is coming from your left to right, so it is billowing in a bit, but actually in the centre it's not affecting me enough to bother me, even though I'm slightly off to the left at the moment. Ridgeline stays very taut and doesn't really distort much. So it's identical, 2 doors, 2 entrances, plenty of room in the middle for one, and wads of room down the bottom. I'm going to modify the pegging points for the door a wee bit, just so there's a bit more flexibility in terms of how it can be used. I just happen to have some of this Nordisk Dyneema lying around, so I'll use it. So hopefully that'll take a wee bit of stress off the zip. It doesn't have like a buckle you can attach, which would have been nice. It's just very basic, so I've gone for just crossing the peg over. I think what I'll do now is I'm going to reverse the poles. I'm going to try it with the handle upwards and point on the ground, because I just feel it'd be more secure and less likely to damage the tent. Whether it'll need proofed or not, because it's so nylon and the seams aren't toothed, it's yet to be seen, but we'll leave it out in the rain. So I've reversed the poles and just put them handle up. To me that just feels better. I'm just going to leave them like that, and it also means that the pole can be secured straight into the muck or the grass at the bottom, and you know it won't shift. So the other question is, do I go for extra pull-outs? Maybe just put a patch on there with a loop and some guy line? Or is it just overkill for such a basic shelter? Not sure. Make a great emergency lunch stop shelter as well. I'll pop this in the bottom of my pack for day walks, because it's absolutely huge for having 2, 3, 4 people inside could sit, no problem. So all the main guiding points are now modified with a bit of paracord. Same here, oops. Same here. Same here. All the way around, just to give me more flexibility in terms of pitching, in case there's hard ground, rocks, etc. It has the same kind of profile as the Nemo Spike Storm that I used to have. If you watch any of my older videos, it's also the exact same colour and virtually the same material. So that's it folks, the Rab Element 2 shelter, about 660 grams, as you can see, about the size of an Algene bottle. It will take 2, but it's palatial for 1 person. And I'm looking forward to trying it. It's in 30D Cordura, silk-coated Cordura, so it feels pretty tough actually, but I've had to modify it as you can see. And it's also modular, which would mean I could use an inner inside it. I know there is one available specifically for it, but I don't know how easy it is to get a hold of now, because this is quite an old design. But anyway, I'm looking forward to trying it for minimalist winter adventures, something for the bottom of the pack, or also just during the summer, outside the bug season, until I get some sort of bug netting inside. So thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, just drop them below. The reason I bought this, and the most important thing to say, is it was £69 on sportsshoes.com, and it normally retails about 150 to 175. So a wee bargain to be had for those of you looking for a minimalist shelter, and that's why I've grabbed one. So the next video we'll try it out and see how we get on in the field. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again.